Well, folks, we have a bevy of news to bring your way. The Switch 2 is just getting a little bit more exciting every single day, and there's some pretty big stuff we have to talk about today. Some of it builds on what we talked about yesterday, but more and more is happening to make us get really excited about what's coming to Switch 2, both game-wise and feature-wise. So I'm really excited to dive into this news. I gotta remind you, we are giving away 3 copies of Super Mario Galaxy 1 plus 2. You can go ahead and enter down in the link in the pinned comment or the description. We're also giving away 5 copies of Kirby Air Riders. This is a separate giveaway. There's a link to that as well down in the pinned comment and the description. But we got to dive in, and we got to dive in now to some pretty big news. And we're going to begin with just something we haven't looked at in a couple weeks, and that is the Japanese sales charts. Now, the charts are here, and it says Switch 2 has now surpassed 2 million units. So it's 2 million total sales in just Japan. You see the software sales where Mario Kart World is still on top. It's usually on top outside of when a really, really big new game comes out. A lot of this is because they are indeed counting bundled sales for the top spot there. So we have that. Donkey Kong Bonanza chiming in there at number 3 with 10,577, with Borderlands 4, a brand new release, taking the number 2 spot. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar at number 4 for Switch. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaba, I don't know how to pronounce any of that. Anyways, that's at number 5. We're seeing Everybody's Golf World by Bandai Namco at number 6. Minecraft at number 7. Then we have Metal Gear Solid Delta still chiming in the top 10 at number 8. Then we see Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 9 and Super Robot Wars Y at 10. And every time I see Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that's still on the list, which the Switch is a massively popular system in Japan, I'm always amazed that it continues to get top 10 sales. It's just the most evergreen game, one of the most evergreen games I've ever seen besides something like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Minecraft. All right, hardware sales wise, well, we see Switch 2 sold 44,278 units, making it cross 2 million in Japan at 2,024,761 units. What an incredible start for Switch 2, and I believe launch aligned that is still ahead of the Nintendo Switch, so that's pretty crazy. Switch OLED model chiming in at number 2 at 10,568. That one's over 9 million. I mean, come on, Switch is just incredible, and that was the third different release of Switch. PlayStation 5 coming in with 10,515 units, selling 5.7, almost 5.8 million. PlayStation 5 Digital Edition selling an additional 9,000. That sold about a million, so you're looking at roughly 6.8 million units of PS5 in Japan, which is a very decent number. Just that's behind the OLED model, let alone a smidge behind or right about in line with the Switch Lite model, which sold 5,606 units. That is at 6.6 million. So it's a little bit ahead of the Switch Lite when you combine those models together, but I mean, it's pretty close. And then, well, the base Nintendo Switch, which has over 20 million in sales in Japan at 2,875. See the PlayStation 5 Pro adding another 2,000 units, essentially 1,989. We're having roughly 247,000, really close to 250,000 units. Xbox Series X sold 51 units. That's at 321,000 lifetime. Xbox Series X Digital Edition sold 47 units. That's at 21,000 lifetime. Xbox Series S sold 27 units. That's at 339,000. So they are starting to creep a little bit closer to possibly having a million unit install base, which I can't remember. I don't think the Xbox One ever combined all its sales together was able to get to a million in Japan. So that would show actually a little growth in Japan potentially, but we'll have to see how the rest of the generation plays out. PlayStation 4 sold 13 units, and that brings it up to 7,929,000. I doubt it's ever going to crawl exactly to 8 million at this point, but yeah, PlayStation 4, we see how well that did, and we see PlayStation 5 might have an outside shot to come close to those numbers if it's still on sale for another 2 to 3 years. It's probably going to be on sale longer than that, of course, after PlayStation 6 comes out, but you kind of catch my drift there. The sales are looking really good. There's some reports out there, by the way, that PlayStation 5 has outsold Nintendo Switch 2 in Spain like the last month and a half. I haven't seen these reports fully verified yet, but it wouldn't be too surprising. Nintendo Switch 2 has not had a number of console like selling games come out in August or even this month. Really begins next month when you see Galaxy 1 and 2. Then you see obviously Pokemon Legends EA, but those are also both on Switch 1. So you can argue the big system sellers aren't until November, when early November we get Age of Imprisonment that's only on Switch 2. And then obviously we get Kirby Air Riders later that's only on Switch 2. Then we're back to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is on both. Either way, the literal holiday period should be a fairly strong performer for Nintendo Switch 2. We'll see if it ends up meeting Nintendo's expectations. Now, we talked yesterday about a rumor coming from Nash Weedle, and Nash Weedle's had a number of things correct and a number of things that have been kind of iffy. And sometimes Nash Weedle has this thing where he posts something as a leak that isn't really a leak, but really comes from patents. And yesterday we covered a rumor that, you know what, is actually more credible than you might think because it comes from a patent. So I wish Nash Weedle would have noted it was a patent and linked to it, but he didn't. It doesn't matter. We have the patent now. In fact, we have some breakdowns of the patent because patents are very complex, but essentially it looks like Nintendo is working on an achievement system for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that's exciting, having some sort of universal, system-wide achievement system in place, having rewards and points and all the stuff we talked about yesterday. All of that is in the patent, but one aspect of this patent that I didn't emphasize enough yesterday is, yes, folks, it does actually mention themes. Everyone, well, not everyone, but a huge chunk of people have really wanted themes on the Switch 2. They really wanted it on Switch, to be honest. It's something we had back on the 3DS, and it looks like Nintendo's listening, and it's just going to be something that you could spend your points on through an achievement program. Now, again, we don't know when this achievement program is coming, and we have some stuff here from Nintendo Soup saying, rumor Nintendo patent sparks speculation of a new in-game mission and achievement system, which, not really speculation, it's literally in it. The speculation is if Nintendo's ever planning to release it. So it was shared by Nintendo Patent Watch. This new patent was published on September 4th, 2025, and describes an achievement-like system similar to the ones used by PlayStation and Xbox, where players can earn system-wide rewards for completing certain challenges in games. According to the patent, Nintendo's version will task players to complete in-game goals in exchange for digital rewards or points. Players may be able to complete missions to receive icons or wallpapers, for example, and they specifically mention thematic wallpapers for the background of your console. It says it in the patent. That is awesome. This feature is also likely to be exclusive to Switch Online subscribers, similar to the current missions and rewards features. Now, we have some additional information on this, of course, because that's just one source. How about the literal Nintendo Patents Watch? Now, they're calling out Nash Weedle here, and we're not really interested in that drama, but let's go ahead and get to the parts that matter. So I clipped the passages where Weedle probably got his predictions from. See images 1 through 4, this message, and images 1 through 3 in the next. So let's look at this. Gives points to a user if any plurality of given conditions is achieved by the user, and gives a reward selected by the user from among a plurality of awards to the user in exchange for the points owned by the user. So basically, use your points to buy digital awards. The plurality of given conditions include a first given condition achieved if a specific game is played. So you got to play a specific game, earn the points, get certain achievements. You can redeem those points for certain things. The first type of rewards and second type of rewards are various images that can be used as materials for above the user icon. So obviously user icons, stuff like that, backgrounds, etc., which can be displayed on the home screen of the game apparatus. Wallpaper that can be set on the home screen and the like. It's right there, folks. Look at this. They talk about the home screen displaying user icons, but also a wallpaper that can be set on the home screen and the like. They said it themselves. These are words from Nintendo. We can now start to take this much more serious, knowing that this is in a patent. This does not mean, by the way, that this is exactly how things are going to go down. Patents aren't always things that come out. There are tons of patents that are for things that aren't released, and we don't always take patents super serious. The reason we take this one more seriously is Nintendo already has a missions and rewards system in place. This would be expanding upon it. That mission and reward system is already exclusive to NSO members, so this feels like a natural expansion. Now, it might not work exactly in the way described in this patent, but something similar to this could come into play. And I want to note one big thing. The original Kirby Air Ride, back on GameCube, had achievements built in to the game. Now, I will note that Kirby Air Riders, that we've already had a massive 45-minute Nintendo Direct for, revealed a bunch of stuff, and there's been even publicly playable demos, has not yet announced achievements, even though that was a very key part of the original experience. Now, we know Nintendo has already teased another Kirby Air Riders Direct, and with another one teased, many people go, man, how much more of this game do we need to see? Well, not only did Sakurai say, there's a bunch of content that we don't know about, and they still have more to reveal. Could be additional game modes, additional tracks, characters, carts, a whole bunch of different things. Well, they're not really carts, but things you ride on. Yeah, I think that there is a whole lot to reveal that way, but one of the key reveals could be achievements. And those achievements could potentially be tied into this universal thing. And maybe that's why the patent was published now, because Kirby Air Riders, that already has achievements coming to it without us knowing yet, could be using this system. And so it's just that it hasn't been fully revealed yet, because the direct hasn't happened, but the game that it's going to start with maybe has. So I just want to note here, there is something to suggest that possibly we see a reveal of an achievement system with Kirby Air Riders. I don't want to promise that. This is obviously speculation, but it's speculation built on the fact that the original game had achievements, and now we have a patent about achievements. So just keep this in mind here. All right, so obviously themes, that's a big thing a lot of people want. A plurality of first type missions that require the use of a specific weapon. You go on here and it says something like defeating a boss character, right? You know, defeating enemy characters, requiring an item, defeating a boss character, etc. I think that that's obviously a possibility here. We come down to the next stuff here, and it says display the first reward given to another user. According to the above configuration, it is possible to inform other users of the own reward given status. Conversely, it's also possible to know the reward given status of other users. So this is where something like you could possibly give awards to some of your friends on your friends list, essentially. So say you bought a profile icon one of your friends really, really wants, you could potentially send it to them through this whole achievement system. Now, first, among the above awards, some rewards are set in advance as rewards that cannot be exchanged. So there's just certain awards you can't give to other people unless the user is given a predetermined item exchange rate in addition to the points. Now, obviously, we don't know what that item exchange rate is, what sort of limitations there are. This is a system that obviously hasn't been revealed and has a lot of really technical details talked about here. One other screenshot we have here, acquiring a reward provided as part of services that are available from subscription and to be predetermined subscription service. That's where you get the fact this is an NSO thing. And then last image here says the reward item corresponding to the condition is given to the user regardless of whether the user wants the reward item or not. That is, the above reward item is automatically given to a user who wants another reward item. So there's some automated rewards. If you send it to somebody, maybe they have to take it even if they don't want it. Kind of a weird thing, but yeah, there you guys go. That is just a brief look at the patent. Put a link to the patent and Patent Watch over at Blue Sky and to Nintendo Soup. Just want to make sure that we do our kind of full rounds here on stuff we're looking at. And now we have some additional information on Metroid Prime 4, at least seemingly some, because this appears to be fairly legit. It looks like the box art for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond has leaked, and we're not talking about the front cover. We've already seen that. We're talking about the back cover, and this is from promotional material appearing on shelves in Japan. And from this, we learn a couple key aspects of the game not yet revealed. So we go over here to Shine Sparker from the Metroid fan community, who has these images here, and you can see the front, which is pretty standard fare, but this is the Switch version. But then you can see the back. Now it's all in Japanese, and so you might go, well, what does any of this mean, right? It's in Japanese. We don't really understand it. Some things aren't clear. Well, thankfully, there is people who speak native Japanese over on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, and they decided to provide some information here, and this is the big stuff. So rough translation of the back of the case, and they'll explain why it's rough, because there's certain aspects that you can't really tell because of the lighting. So with the hopes vested in her and you, and her and you's new power, so Samus basically, the hope invested in Samus and Samus's new powers, return home from an unknown planet. The last kanji are hidden by the light, so I can't tell if this sentence is addressed to you or nobody. In the latter case, the subject would be Samus. Having been transported across space and time to the unknown planet Vuros, Samus Aran must carve a path with her newfound powers in order to return to her original world. Interesting. Again, the light obscures some parts of the sentence, but what's missing is easier to guess and make out. First-person adventure, so it's a FPA Metroid. Explore a full 360-degree world from Samus's viewpoint. Psychic abilities to honor the wishes of the people of this planet. Make full use of the powers they grant to Samus and solve mysteries. Viola, cut through the vast expanse of Vuros. North swords are here, and yes, NSO is used for cloud data, so there is cloud save data backup. Now, what's interesting here is obviously the parts up here where we're talking about her traveling from her own planet across time and space, suggesting there might be some sort of time travel mechanic involved. And some of what she's doing here is to get back to where she originally came from, and that seems to be her primary objective. Now, this is pretty interesting because, again, it does directly, mentioned that she traveled across time and space. So time travel is heavily implied. We don't know if it's a huge plot point of the game or if it's just something in the background that's not addressed to like the final cutscene of the game, whether it's a very key component to the game and maybe there's several time travel aspects to the game, or maybe you go to some of Samus Aran's past, or maybe you go to some of Samus Aran's future. I have no idea. This is just a really interesting thing that we've never seen, and obviously we've never seen in like Metroid anyways, at least at the level at which I'm kind of describing it. And then obviously just talking about the potential of traveling in space as well. I don't know what that means. We're going to get in her ship and travel out there, if it's just a quick travel on a map, if we get to go to multiple planets. We'd be on this planet and Samus's home planet. I have no idea, right? There's a lot of unknowns about Metroid Prime 4, but this at least gives us something to chew on until we get what we assume is inevitably a Metroid Prime 4 Direct. Now, we have something we need to talk about with Super Mario Galaxy 1+2. Nintendo did drop a 7-minute, 27-second overview trailer today, and you would figure this trailer would just have a bunch of new stuff in it, right? Like, why wouldn't it have a bunch of new stuff in it? Look, we need to see what else is new about this game, and we still have yet to see Nintendo Switch 2 footage of the game. Unfortunately, there is no Nintendo Switch 2 footage of the game. It's just a 1080p video, which heavily suggests it's just Switch 1 footage. But outside of the fact that it's just a recap of everything, basically just explaining what Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is, what each game is, and some of the new content they've already revealed. So again, nothing new here. One thing we did see is there's something different about the Amiibo for the game. And look, I know the Amiibo are more expensive and it's hard for people to justify, but these aren't your standard size Amiibo. They're actually supersized Amiibo. So they're the same size base, but look how big they are. They actually bring this up towards the end, how big these Amiibo are compared to the original Mario and Rosalina Amiibo. That size difference obviously might help justify some of the cost for some people. These are definitely bigger, meant to be actual showpieces that you put on display in your house very clearly, because these aren't like, they're still minifigs, but they're bigger than your normal Amiibo. Like, so obviously with these being bigger Amiibo, I can look at something like this. Like, this is like your standard size Amiibo. You're looking at something that's, maybe half as much taller and obviously wider and stuff like that. So you are looking at a fairly significant size Amiibo. Without having the new Amiibo on hand, it's hard to really get a true scale. Obviously, the best scale we have is just what they show here. Very clearly, they're significantly larger than the other ones. Like if Rosalina was standing up, she would tower over the other Rosalina. So yeah, it's very interesting to me that they went with this choice. Maybe this helps you a little bit stomach some of the price points. We've definitely seen some fairly large Amiibo. Anyone remember the giant Yarn Yoshi Amiibos that were like this? Those were also fairly expensive. So at least you're spending the money and you're not just getting a standard size Amiibo. It is something larger. Whether or not that feels worth it to you is still going to be, well, up to you, because after all, it's your money. Now, one exciting game that for some people, for me especially, that got announced was Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, and we have some new details and screenshots for the game. So let's go ahead and take a look over here at Nintendo Everything. So here's the full rundown. This is from Square Enix themselves. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is set to launch globally on February 5th, 2026. This game is a remake of Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past, which originally released in 2000 on the PlayStation platform, now reimagined with a handcrafted aesthetic. A journey sparked by simple curiosity leads a group of childhood friends living on a secluded island into an epic adventure that spans the past and present, where they uncover malevolent forces and true nature of their world. In addition to the base game, 3 pieces of downloadable content offering an enhanced experience will be available, as well as a collector's edition that includes special items. Stay tuned for more details about the newly reborn Dragon Quest VII. So visuals, the characters, designs originally created by the world-renowned manga artist Akira Toriyama have been reimagined in a charming handcrafted 3D art style reminiscent of miniature figures, alongside the characters and environments and dungeons are brought to life with a handcrafted diorama-style aesthetic that vividly illustrates the world of Dragon Quest series. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined in the new handcrafted style, so towns and environments have also been reimagined with diorama-like CG that delivers intricate details while preserving the warm, cozy atmosphere. The game features dramatic event scenes also recreated in the distinctive style. As for the story and features, what begins as a youthful curiosity soon unfolds into an epic adventure to save the world. On the sleepy shores of Estard Island, our bright-eyed protagonist and his best friend stumble upon a strange fragment of an ancient tablet. When they place the fragments into a pedestal within a mysterious shrine, a magical light transports them to an unknown world. With every new tablet they discover, the world around them grows. What begins as a quest for answers soon turns into something far greater as they discover malevolent forces are hidden and true nature of their world. So collecting the fragments to complete a tablet unlocks the gateway to a new world. The adventure unfolds as the group travels between two worlds. Each tablet they discover leads them to exciting new destinations. Many unique events and side stories take place in each world. The user interface design has also been reimagined, now featuring a tab-based menu system, so all information is easier than ever to access. The game offers plenty of content for those looking to take a break from the main story, such as a battle arena featuring a host of formidable legendary foes and the classic Lucky Panel minigame. Both provide excellent opportunities and rare items. Then go over the characters here. If you want to look at the protagonists, you want to look at Kiefer or Maribel or Ruff or Ashy, Sir Mavelin, the battle system, and there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. And then obviously they include all the DLC, the Road to Regal's Watch, which is on its own, $5.99, Luminaries Library on its own, $4.99, etc. Jam-packed swag bag, a whole bunch of stuff here. But we really want to get to the screenshots of the game because what you guys want to see is more of the game itself. Thankfully, we have those screenshots courtesy of Nintendo Everything. These are obviously press screenshots. And there's them using the tablet with the light that transports them, right? Here they are fighting an enemy. Again, I've never played Dragon Quest 7, so I don't know the names of all this stuff, but I got to admit, this looks really good. And then here you see, I see Ruff's your name. I love the art direction here is incredible. I really enjoy this. You're seeing a battle obviously take place here. Maribel cast Frizz Cracker. Then we're seeing obviously here they are running up in the world map, the classic JRPG style world map where you're running around running the enemies to start battles. I really like that. Obviously here they are sailing that beautiful water, and if Thunderstash Gaming's looking right now, he's probably looking at that and being like, man, look at that water. Those water graphics in Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. I know he's feasting his eyes on this screenshot right now. He's probably taking a pause. He's going to pause my video right now and just stare at this for the next hour. Next up, we see obviously them in a town running around. We see them coming up to whatever character this is. I don't think this is a boss fight. I don't believe. Could be wrong. Again, I haven't played Dragon Quest 7. This will be my first time ever playing it when I get this game. Then we're seeing obviously a caretaker, a hem, chosen ones. I suppose you've already noticed the colorful pedestals we got here. This is probably some sort of puzzle, I'm assuming, in the game. So that's really cool. And then you come down here, you can see obviously a screenshot of inside some building talking to Buddy. That's pretty cool here. You can obviously see the menu system a little bit here. You can see the tab style. They're going with the LB and RB, your bumpers, to kind of change through things and then change your equipment. I think that's pretty clever. You get a nice 3D look at the equipment as well. You come down here and you're seeing just buying items at a shop. Your bronze cup, your silver cup. This is for battle arenas. Sorry, this is battle arenas, not a shop. So that's pretty cool. You got to defeat them within 20 turns, 15 turns, 10 turns, etc. Right? There's a challenge aspect there. You're seeing the matching game. Yes, folks, it's like that classic children's matching game of flipping cards over and matching things together. Pretty cool there. There's more images here. I just had to load them in because, we're on Imager here because that's where they're all hosted. We come down and just see a nice little, looks like a cinematic shot, I believe, of the main character. Another cinematic shot, another cinematic shot. You gotta love these individual character cinematic shots. The missing tooth thing, some detail there. I like that. Again, I don't know who these characters are. For those that do know, you're probably feeling highly nostalgic at the moment. I have no nostalgia for this. I just think it looks incredible. And I mentioned this when they showed the man with the stash. I need to know more about this guy here. I love his design and just the personality he has in his face in many of the videos we've seen. I'm loving it. So I'm sure he's an awesome character. Your experience points showing auto battling as well. They have an auto battle function, which could come in handy if you're facing weaker enemies and you're just tired of having to go turn by turn selecting things. Just auto battling to get rid of some of the weaker stuff if you're grinding. I don't mind having a system in place like that. You're seeing Jacqueline, another inside, I don't know, a palace of some time. I'm not really sure where this is. Again, I haven't played the game. You're seeing, your vocations, so your moonlighting and your vocations here. The thief, the troubadour, the sailor. You can kind of see how you have some of that stuff loaded. This guy's all the way maxed out at jester and troubadour. I don't remember what a troubadour is. Based on it's a harp. It's like a musical thing. And you come down and you see some more battles with some more enemies, of course, floating in the air. You see the mustache man has an ability to use the blade of ultimate power and apparently split into 3. I don't know what's up with that attack, but that's pretty cool. Then we're seeing another one where the Draculard spews forth blazing fire. It's obviously probably one of the enemies you face. I don't know. He's spewing at other enemies. I assume this is just one of the enemies that we have to face. It's pretty cool. We see another dragon. Obviously, it is Dragon Quest. So dragons are kind of the theme. And Zoma hurls a deadly lump of ice. So again, this is pretty cool. I'm really excited to see these screenshots. I think Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined looks better than ever. And we are done, I believe. That's all we got for you today. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video, enjoyed this just avalanche of news. Let me know your favorite parts of the news down below. Things are getting really exciting now. We now know like the lineup of games coming for a little bit, with potentially new features coming now. Some of the games looking more incredible than ever. Even the Amiibos, I know the prices are a little high, but now we're seeing like why the prices might be a little higher than you expect is the Amiibo aren't like your standard ones. There's some differences. So take that for what you will. It's obviously up to the individual. What's worth it to you? All I know is I'm buying Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. I'm buying Legends ZA. I'm not buying Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for me, but I will be buying a few copies for you guys. But I am also going to be diving deep into things like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and, yes, Age of Imprisonment, Kirby Air Riders, Dragon Quest 7, Final Fantasy 7, and so much more. There's so much stuff coming out that honestly, my wallet is not ready. I haven't even begun pre-ordering things yet, but you know what? All the games mentioned today, I will put pre-order links down below as well if you guys are interested in getting those pre-orders in and using our affiliate links to help us out a little bit. Otherwise, we'll catch you in the next video.